Good evening, folks. My name is Bruce Ray. I'll try to keep this as fast as possible so we don't bore you, but we are going to take apart and inspire this evening. This first video will be on how to remove the motors, the landing gear, and the boom, the horizontal boom. I've already removed some of the screws so we don't make this video too long. First step is going to remove the antenna coax from the antennas. This is very important because it's the only wire that doesn't plug in, and it requires soldering. So I'm going to give you a few tips here on how to solder it. Unsolder the lead. I've done this for many years. It doesn't mean somebody might have a better system, but I'm going to use an inexpensive soldering iron here that's adjustable. I don't run it up to the entire hot range. This one goes up to 790 degrees. I back it down to about 730. I have my GoPro monitor here so that I can make sure that you're within viewing range. Okay, there's 4 screws that hold this antenna cover on. They're very tiny screws, so use a small jeweler's screwdriver. Make sure they fit the screws properly. The screws are very small. I like a magnetic tip for this portion because when you go to put them back in, the screw will stay on there. 4 screws come in from behind this cover. Once you remove that cover, lift it up. Get yourself an X-Acto knife. This is your coax. That's what's holding this antenna on. The coax is soldered to it. You have a center conductor, which is a very fine tip to the coax coming out of the middle of the coax, and this is the shield, also known as the ground. The first step is to take the center conductor loose. We're going to do that. You clean the tip on your soldering iron, and we tin it. That's a clean tip. We're going to add a little solder. And this fresh solder has some resin in it. I shook off the excess. Be careful where you shake it. That fresh solder will help conduct the heat to this tip. I get my X-Acto knife underneath, put a little pressure, and I lift it up. I'll put my knife under there so you can see that the center is lifted up. Okay, next step is to heat. I'm going to turn my heat up on high because this is a large soldering area. This is the shield. I'm going to touch my soldering iron to that shield, and as soon as it becomes liquid, I'm going to pull the antenna away. It's liquid, and the antenna came right off. This is where you'll resolder the shield, and this little mark here is where the center conductor will be resoldered. Now with that shield loose, this landing gear foot can be removed easily. There's 6 screws, 3 on each side of the feet. I've removed some of them. Get the rest here. It's an Allen wrench. Metric. Get yourself a nice set of Allen wrenches. I like this Moody brand. M-O-O-D-Y. Made in the United States. They're very strong. X-Acto makes a nice Allen wrench kit. But my favorite tool kit, if I gotta plug somebody here, is Chapman. C-H-A-P-M-A-N, manufacturing, made in the USA. Google it. This is a great kit if you own firearms. These are precision tools that won't damage the screws, the Allen wrench sockets, the Phillips screws, because of how these are hollow ground. I don't know if you can see it, just the straight blade. The straight blade is hollow ground, so it will make the best contact of the surface area of a straight blade screw. Beautiful tool kit, and it comes with a little ratchet that these Allen wrench heads and straight blades and Phillips and Torx will fit into this ratchet. One more screw to take out. This kit has an extension and a handle. Some of the Allen wrenches on the Inspire, the Allen screws rather, are very difficult to get out. They take some torque to unloosen them. Okay. The landing gear now being loose, I can pull on it, and since that antenna cable is unsoldered, I can pull a little further, take this motor off, and we'll pull out on the heavy red wire and the heavy black wire, and as you can see, out comes a plug. I'll take the tape off the plug. Save that tape. Twist a little on the black. Twist a little on the red. We have a ribbon cable that comes down here to plug into the ESC. That comes out quite easily. Now you've got a motor and a landing gear. If you were replacing both pieces, you wouldn't have to go any further. There are 4 screws that hold the ESC board in, and then the LED light you unplug, because that light stays on the foot. So you just push down on the tab and unplug that LED, take out the 4 screws, make sure there's no glue in the way. They like using a little glue holding the cable down here, so I scrape that glue off with a knife. Be careful that you don't damage your cable. Once that glue is out of the way and the 4 screws here are taken out of the ESC, that board will lift out, and then you'll have a motor and an ESC removed. I'm going to lay this aside because my intention is to remove this boom. I'm going to do the other landing gear foot. 4 screws.